night, it's Friday night. I want a Chippy Tee. Chippy Tee, Chippy Tee. I want a Chippy Tee. Oh, you keep giving me posh, no, she don't agree with me. I don't want lobster thermidor with raspberry coulis. It's Friday night, I'm within me rights. I want a Chippy Tee.
I'm going to take over the mantle of Chippy Tee because you don't have the time to do all of the
list you've just come out with,
basically because you're so busy doing everything else, including playing hide the sausage. There's just no way you can put 6 to 8 hours worth of video editing in. So I'll take it up, and also we won't feature you every week. I'll go around and I will contact people that we've had on the show before and people that we haven't had on the show before, and we'll continue the theory of Chippy Tee being a great place to chat and meet and discuss state of the industry, what's happening in the industry, and it'll be UK, USA, global, whoever we sort of like come across that agrees to come on this highly technical advanced place that we've got. Hey Danny.
Hey up sausage.
How are we doing?
I'm alright. I'm chilling. It's a Friday. Got in Friday morning. I thought I'd jump on with E. Have a little chin wag. We've not had a catch up in ages, have we?
It's been at least a year since we've had a non-tangential chat, where we don't go off on tangents.
I don't think we've ever done that, to be honest. I don't think that's ever been a thing.
Even in persons, we don't do that, do we?
No.
Yeah, so, we're going to catch up with what has been a fantastic year for you of change, definitely.
I think, yeah.
Almost every aspect of your life. In fact, looking behind you, you've even abandoned your faithful seagulls, and now you've just got a cardboard one.
Yeah. Well, they're a bit quieter, a bit easier to look after. So,
well, I can't hear anything in the background what you used to do.
Oh, do you know what I mean? Early last night we went. Night before we went to B&Q. Went to get some paint.
This is what you do when in your 30s.
Yeah, this is a day out.
Yeah, that's a day out. It's planned, it's organised. You've got a timetable, a list, and everything.
Yeah, we went to B&Q for some paint, some satin wood paint, FYI, and we thought, we'll go to McDonald's and we'll get a McFlurry and we'll sit on seafront. Now there's McFlurry, and then we'll drive home and watch something on telly. Anyway, sat on seafront, McFlurry, and there was this poor seagull stumbling along, and it had half its head eaten out, covered in blood and crap. Oh, what an horrific scene! I felt so sorry for the poor bugger. So anyway, this is in memory of that seagull.
Okay, I thought I had a happy ending.
No, that's it. I thought I'd start us off with a good tangent. How do you like that? Just like old times.
Zombie seagull, yes.
Poor bugger. I felt so like I wanted to help it, but I thought, what can I do? I can't do it for it, can I?
No, not really. No, could have given it some McFlurry, I suppose.
Yeah, well. Anyway, so welcome to Chippy Tee.
This is
now it's changed.
Been a year now since we did anything. I think October or something. I know we did 100 episodes. I know that much.
We managed to knock out 100 episodes, and then we really slowed down. I just got overwhelmed with all the things going on with Flippin Sweet and Chippy Tee. We'd often arrange to do something, and then it'd get to the morning, and I'd be like, shit, can we do it in a few more days? I just kept not making excuses. Stuff just got its way, and then eventually it became a bit of a ball ache, didn't it?
Well, if I'm completely honest, I didn't realise how much time we're involved in it, because I've started doing some editing now, and I did not realise the after edit. Obviously, I do my sort of 2 hours worth, meet you on a camcorder in a hotel somewhere, and then I just fuck off and to start earning some money.
It was almost...
I thought that were it. I thought you just pressed upload and post.
No. I was 6, 7, 8 hours every episode for me. Because don't forget, back then I would record the episode, and then I'd have to listen through it all again and clip out me going for a wee or things that we shouldn't really be saying. Clip all them out. And then I'd export it, which would take an hour. And then upload it, which would take a few hours. And anyway, it was a whole thing. Now AI just does it for you.
Riverside Studio for me is it looks like it's come on leaps and bounds, but I'll tell you sort of in a couple of days' time when I've been pulling my hair out with it.
Well,
but again, I didn't know Adobe Premiere Pro until in this last year. I've sort of taught myself that with a few bits and pieces that I've been doing.
Well, why don't you?
I think you've got to be on video, really, haven't you?
Well, I think this day and age now, I think it's all video, isn't it? And even platforms like Instagram, it's all reels and stuff. We've all gone down that TikTok route, and if you don't do it, you'll just get left behind. And
I'm not dancing with my baps out though.
No, I'm not getting my tits out or
I'll never say never.
holding spatulas with microphones on end and running around my shop telling you how cool I am and all that shit.
I think there's two things I hate with that. Number one is opening with, "Hey guys,"
You hear the same stuff, don't you?
and "Sorry I've not been on for a while." Like everybody's sat there waiting for you to, like an episode of Coronation Street. Oh my God, where's Donut? Yeah. "Sorry I've not been on for a while. I apologise, but I've been busy." Who are you?
Well,
didn't even know you'd gone?
Ironically, we've just done the same thing, haven't we, really? So,
No, yeah.
Anyway, so you've been learning Adobe Premiere, so why is that then? What's your plan?
Well, I'm doing a lot more video content onto my website. I want to try and build a knowledge base. It's a fine line because I sell knowledge, so I don't want to give too much away. But if you're
a
not
modern day Ty Lopez, aren't you? Here in my garage with my bookshelf. Well, everybody listening does. Well, the listeners know.
I'm really old, so I just need to have some sort of presence on my website of video links, knowledge base, generally asked questions without giving sort of like, right, you must use a 43 on a 15-degree angle with a 75, 90, 70, and you must do this. Just sort of general, how to get a good white, how to get puff, what makes a good screen, what do we do with artwork, all these little things that I can put in one place and have like a knowledge base. If you go really far back, it used to exist with Cat Spit and people like that.
Yeah, good old Cat Spit.
Is he still about?
I hope so. I mean, I'm not seeing any of his videos. I hope he's still printing. He was a lovely fella, Cat Spit. Actually, I sent him a T-shirt like 15 years ago or something daft. Majority of my learning was watching Cat Spit videos. That's when I started. There were no whoever they all are. I don't know if they are nowadays, but none of them were about. Yeah, but I never met the guy, but it came across as a nice bloke anyway.
He did come across as a nice bloke, and he didn't mind sharing information. I like that, so I'm going to take that idea and run with it a little bit. I've got a bit more time on my hands. I'm not travelling as much. Obviously, still can't get into America. Probably. It's the cost of applying for a visa went from 1,200 quid to 100,000 quid. No, it's quite steep, and you pay £100,000 and you still might not get in.
Yeah, I mean you get it back in about a year and a half, like, but
I'm going to wait until the administration changes and maybe try again. But if nothing changes, things stay the same, as an old friend of mine used to say.
Got to pivot, haven't you?
Yeah. America's off the cards. I'm still travelling Europe. I still do UK. Got a few gigs in Europe lined up, but they're few and far between. But for now, it leaves me with a bit more time on my hands to do loads of DIY, which I'm considering. I think I hate.
I actually love doing it, but when I haven't got time to do it, I hate doing it.
There's a couple of things, right? I don't mind doing it, but I haven't got all the gear, and I'm not that knowledgeable, but I'm not that daft, so I can find out stuff. And it leads into Cat Spit, this. I'm going to lay a carpet. Now I know how to lay a carpet. I've done it for years. I've always laid my own carpet, not a problem. And I thought, I'll have a look online. Is there a YouTube video on how to lay a carpet? Maybe I've been doing it wrong. And actually, there's loads. And even by like B&Q and places like that, where they're interested in putting out good quality content on how to perform a basic task that everybody just presumes you know how to do. Which is pretty much printing, Everybody presumes you know how to push ink through screens, but there could be a video out there that just solves all your problems. So,
yeah, there's a lot of YouTube videos that tell you how to screen print that are talking shit, but wouldn't
there? There's no legislation. There's no.
There's no qualification for it, is there? You can tell people you know what you're doing. Whether you do or
you can be an expert or even a guru or even a consultant and have just bought your first machine and never printed on it.
Yeah.
Like someone we know.
sell a package, a teaching package.
So a teaching package because I've just bought this 6-colour press, electric press, and now I'm a consultant. No, I don't think so.
How to call them Charlotte.
So, yeah, that's what I'm doing now. A little bit. I've had a chance to do a lot of DIY. I've had a chance to do a lot of video content, working on online content. Believe it or not, I can do a lot of consulting online. It's the wonder of the internet now is we've got video calls, conferencing calls. If someone sends me a little video of, all right, we're doing this, what we're doing wrong. It's quite easy.
Yeah.
You can't beat
Yeah,
having your
yeah.
boots on the ground, like, but
Better to be there in person, and
you can't
sometimes
beat it. I often say, I've just done a consultation with a guy in Poland, and he's like, okay, well, we're doing this, this, and this. I went, well, after 10 minutes, I went, well, you don't need me. What do you mean? Technically, you're doing everything correct, and you're of a very high standard, much higher than my normal customer. You've been doing this for over 30 years. You've mastered high build. You've mastered puff. You've got 12 colour wet on wet going with no problems. So, for me, I'm sorry to talk myself out of a job, but I'm not going to go to somewhere where you don't need something. You don't need me. And he's like, no, we need you to come and tell us we're doing it right.
Oh, right.
So we think we're doing it right, but you've
just
been in
want
lots
that
of print
reassurance.
shops. You've got tell us, and there could be something in the corner that we've not shown you and not told you, and you're thinking, well, why the hell are you fighting yourself doing that?
Yeah.
And our only answer is, well, we've been doing it like that for 20 years.
Yeah, well, it's as an industry, we sort of, for most part, self-taught, aren't we? We learn as we go, and we learn from our mistakes. And there are times where you do something and it works, and you carry it with you for years or decades, and then someone who actually knows what they're doing comes along and says, "You're doing it like that for?"
See, I'm on the flip side of that. I love the 18-year-old guy that's never screen printed before comes in and goes, "Why do you do it like that?" And you go,
Yeah.
"Why did nobody think of that?
Yeah,
it's such a simple solution.
A
We
fresh
never
set of
saw it
eyes.
because we were like this."
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then this
under-
guy comes
yeah.
in and goes, "Well, if we just stand here and do that, we don't have to walk
Yeah.
10 yards every day." Great, yeah. So yeah. I like that bit as well.
Tunnel vision's a thing, big style. I think the deeper you're in, the more you think you know, the more tunnel visioned and more set in your ways you get.
You get the
And
blink.
that yeah, it's amazing how sometimes like silly little things. It's always silly as well. It's always simple. And you go, why have I not done this my entire time? And you just don't think of it, do you?
No, sometimes it's just, you've messed it up that many times that you've found a part solution and you don't want to waver from that
through it.
path. I don't want to move from this path now because last time I did it all went wrong. So
Yeah,
at least I'm back to where I was, where I'm still struggling. But
Yeah,
every time I touch it, it gets worse. So some people are frightened to touch it in case it gets worse.
Yeah.
So, well, what have you been doing, Dan? It's been a year. Have you done anything different?
Where do we start?
Well, we'll start with, where are you?
Well, I'm in a new space. Got a new unit, 1,500 square foot.
Wow.
Just a proper industrial unit. I've seen bigger, but it's big enough for me for now.
That's what she
For
said.
now. Never heard that. Big enough for the next 5 years that I'm fully committed. Now, it's actually quite tall as well. If I start running out of floor space, I can always move up and
Mezzanine.
start. Yeah, I've got that option. So yeah, we went through the process of moving into a new space, which was just...
What was the thinking behind it? What was the catalyst that went, do you know what? I can't do this anymore. Because you're in a, for anybody that doesn't know, you're in a small space with basically 4 rooms, 2 up and 2 down.
Yeah, the actual floor space at that old place wasn't that bad, but it were 4 separate boxes. My auto literally fit in that room wall to wall with just enough
It were close,
room
wasn't
to breathe in and squeeze by to get to the next room. And then if you want to get
through the stairs, wasn't it? So you couldn't actually get to that bit there.
no, so like the head 5 and 6 was under a staircase, so you had to sort of squeeze round and duck down, squash a screen in, and for the biggest catalyst is I ran out of space. I suppose I ran out of 3 things really: space, power, and potential to grow. I just got stuck. I didn't have enough power to upgrade the equipment I wanted or needed. So I always had my hands behind my back. All my upgrades were always compromised. Mid presses on a 6 colour press, and really I needed 10, 12, maybe even 14 at a push. If I
Don't
was.
say that out loud on this podcast, because now you'll get inundated with people saying, I've got a 12 colour press you can buy.
No.
Because there are loads about, there's loads of used machines around now.
Well, I was having this conversation with Chloe yesterday. Could do with 2. You won't believe it. I know it sounds a bit crackers, but I could
I'm
do
sure
with
when
2.
we met, you were a manual crafty player.
Well, the thinking behind it is to have one press printing whilst the next press is getting set up. And then rather than stopping and waiting for like an hour between, the print operator just goes on to the next press, and then the first press is getting stripped down and the next job put on. It's like bump, 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 bump.
It's called on the bounce.
On the bounce, right.
On the bounce. I did it about 15 years ago, and I came up with the idea, and I said to my machine setter, who was a little dynamo, really super fast and really good, And I said, right, I want you to do what you just said there, which is quite a long explanation.
Yeah.
And he went, so you want me to run it on bounce?
Right.
On the bounce. Yeah, do that. So when you press print finish on one press, the whole team just migrates across to the next one and presses print start.
Then a couple of goblins come in and strip it all down, get it set up for the next one.
Yeah, magic screen goblins come in and just set it all up.
That'd be the dream. That'd be the dream.
There are systems in place now using AI and automation that will do that for you. You know, I've seen a working system where you put your screen onto we'll call it a magic palette for now, but it could be called anything, and motors and AI cameras set it up perfectly for you. In other words, we remove the squishy thing.
Yeah, that seems like a technology that should have been around a long time, really, shouldn't it? But
when you look at some inline printers that are printing like thousands of transfers and thousands of sheet fed, you'll see that the camera will constantly look at the cross marks and registration marks and change the screen according to the feedback it gets. That technology has been around for a long time. It's never filtered down to us in screen print.
That is an argument. There's a whole conversation there, which I don't think we should get into just now. Actually, screen print as an industry, if it doesn't want to regress with the digital DTF situation, this type of technology is going to be quite crucial, because that the closer to plug and play screen print gets, the more redundant DTF gets. But the more hands-on and manual and more time it takes to set up a job, DTF starts to win at certain quantity levels, you know.
That is a whole episode on its own.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, that's why I don't want to go.
It's all about the dead time. You know, screen printing, nothing can beat a fully organised team of 3 to 4 people doing 1,000 pieces an hour. I know everybody says it's not possible. Tell you what, if I give you 100,000 pieces of 5-colour job, right, by day 4, you'll be hitting that 1,000 an hour. And the limit will be the squishy thing, the person. Because you'll find out all the problems, you know the job's not going to change, you've got backup screens, you know what's going to run out, you're preparing for everything, and you just run. The first time I saw it was before my kids were born, 92, 93, and we did 180,000, the mask, and it just ran. And I think at that point, we'd hit all the problems in that multicolour plastisol job. I could get anybody off the street and say, stand there, watch for that running out. Every 300 spray this, every 20 do this, and that will never stop.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. We're very far from that, aren't we?
Well,
the industry's totally different.
If we look at the industry, what's happened is, I did say this on somewhere else as well, and I've said it a lot now. I've said it so much that I'm starting to believe it, and I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or not. The machinery, the screens, the setup, the theory of pushing ink through screens is not made for mass customization. It's made for mass repetition. Reproducing the same image over and over and over and over again. That's what it's made for. And we've tried to fit that process into this gap in the market that's come up, which is mass customization. I want 100 of them.
Yeah, because we had to make it work, but we don't have to make it work like that no more. We don't have to. We've got this new magic solution called DTF, and why am I going to do 24 t-shirts with 6 colours?
Yeah, why am I going to make 6
set them screens up?
Mix the colours, set it up.
Make less money.
Yeah, that's what it's about, end of the day. If you were getting 20 quid a print, would you still do it? Yes, but you're trying to do it for £1 a print. And it doesn't work. Well, I've got screens to make. I'm going to charge you 20 quid a screen. Oh, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. The pricing is structured around printing thousands and thousands.
It is, yeah.
Whether you print, unfortunately, we've just carried that pricing backwards to the point where people will chuck 10 t-shirts on a screen print press if you ask the right person.
A lot of places I go just do 10.
Can't get me head around it.
It's not a problem if you're making money.
Yeah.
If you say, 10 t-shirts is going to take 4 hours of my time and I want £100 an hour for my time, then I'm going to charge 400 quid for 10 t-shirts, and you get it, knock yourself out.
Yeah.
But if you work 4 hours for £2.50, more for you.
Yeah. Waste your time. Ways to do it nowadays. Well, anyway, I got a new unit. God, I don't know if I'm starting to erase the memory just so that I don't have to relive it again. But
so did it go smoothly then?
Yeah, no. So the catalyst basically, we ran out of space, we ran out of power. I was compromising on all my upgrades to the point that it started to hurt me. I've got a flash dryer that will tripping the electric all the time, and my tunnel dryers were tiny little tunnel dryers squeezed into a space. And then when I opened my front door in the morning, I had to walk underneath my tunnel dryer, then go to some shutters and wind them open and break my arms every morning just to get it open. It was a whole thing.
You were squished in a shoebox, really.
Squished in a shoebox with no power.
But it's a big commitment, taking on because I presume you were on really low rent with it being a nice little place. So
it was all right,
commitment.
It was all right, and it wasn't free out, but it was all right enough. Put it this way, what I'm paying now is more than quadrupled, probably 5 or 6 times. By the time you add all bills together and stuff.
Yeah, because it's not just rent. You've got bigger rates. You've got power, everything that goes along with having a larger unit, insurance, all that stuff.
For most part, the old place was a gentleman's agreement. Rent, whatever it was a month. Pay the electric. He paid water because he had a load of other buildings attached, and everybody else paid it, and I didn't ever touch it. So it was easy. There were no real contracts or all that. It was just sent some money over every month, flat fee. It is what it is. Not to worry about. Whereas over here, took this new place, and the rent's a flat fee. But then there's a service charge, and then there's insurance, and then you've got to pay water, electric, and the electric in itself has probably tripled.
Is that because you're using more?
It is because I'm using more. I mean, later on we'll go down to the story about the new dryer, which is very power hungry. It costs a fortune to run. So anyway, we moved. Oh, let me think. I was just in a situation where I couldn't grow, and the business was trying to grow. I was desperate to grow it. God, I'm still desperate now, determined, but I just held back at every step of the way. In that place, I just couldn't progress, and if anything, that place was driving things backwards because I had nowhere to put my stock. I didn't have the right tools for a job. All right, the rent was cheap and it was a flat fee every month. But if anything, I was probably losing more because of how I was being held back than what I'm paying now. So it kind of makes
I said to you, if you want to maintain where you are, stay where you are. But you've hit the limit of this building, this physical space. If you're happy being a one-man band, just plodding along, getting some pocket money, paying your bills, enough to buy an house and stuff, fine. But if you want to grow and you want to get more money and you want to grow the business and turn Flippin Sweet into a bigger entity, you have to do something.
Yeah, I mean, that place, where I was back then, money-wise was all right. I was making money, but I was killing myself to do it because there was no space to have people to help you. There was no space to have the tools that those people can use to, make the process more slipstreamed. So I could have quite easily carried on money-wise. Probably, I was burning out every year. Guaranteed at some point of the year I was burning out, and then things were falling to bits and start making mistakes. I get back on my feet and crack on, but you can't. I don't know if I could have possibly physically and mentally sustained that anyway. So we had to pull the trigger. I can't remember what the catalyst was. Something went wrong, disastrously wrong, and I think I just got sick of it. And then you and Ailey basically convinced me to just do it.
We're sending you links. I've seen this premises. I've seen these premises. This looks cheap. Like I were paying it. This looks cheap. $2,000 a month. I do remember having a conversation saying to Ailey, saying, I've got to move, I've got to get out of this space, can't carry on like this, it's killing me. But saying, where the hell do I find $25,000 to move? Where do I find that $25,000 worth of cash to move from one building to another? Is that the budget you had in your head? Is that what you think it would cost to move?
That's what I thought. It costs about $25,000, won't it? And she says, what costs that much? Where are you getting this $25,000 for? 10 grand or something. That's what she said to me. And I said, no. But anyway, eventually I said, oh yeah, well, I suppose if you put it like that, you're probably right, aren't you? Anyway, about $45,000 is the actual figure.
$45,000 later, we're like, yeah, we were all wrong.
Jesus
what was the biggest surprise in cost?
Electrics. So basically the unit I moved into was, it had one wall socket.
Just a shell.
It was just literally, I've taken on an empty shell. 4 walls, no sockets, no electrics, no trunking, nothing. So this entire building I've kitted out with trunking, wiring, sockets, all my 3-phase and single-phase sockets.
So you've jumped from single-phase to 3-phase, you've jumped?
Yeah, so power-wise I've gained 3-phase, which opens up the equipment I can have. It didn't come without hiccups. Because of the compromises I made in the old place, I had a single-phase compressor, I had a single-phase flash dryer, I had single-phase dryers. I had 2 dryers at this time, 2 single-phase dryers. And once we got moved in and settled and we were printing again, I would be printing away on auto, and then all of a sudden, pitch black, power would cut out. And it happened once, and I thought, oh, fuck. Well, just a coincidence. Anyway, it just kept happening. Whenever we would get into like a long run of printing, basically the flash dryer or whatever was getting a bit, or the electrics were getting a bit hot, and then the main feeder board that feeds all the individual units around here, we only had a 32 amp fuse on, and it was tripping it. What I found out basically was, one of the three phases were just really maxed out, and at a certain point it was getting a bit too hot, and then it cut it out. And eventually I kind of sort of chased it around to the fact that we had so many single phase high power pieces of equipment asking for power all at the same time. So of course an extra expense came in. I had to get a new compressor, so I swapped my single phase compressor for a 3-phase compressor which had a soft start motor on a variable speed motor. So basically, the old single-phase compressor was all on at once. Whenever that
one new though, wasn't it?
Oh, brand new.
What did you pay for that?
It was $5,000-ish or something off the top of my head.
So you paid $5,000 for a compressor and you can't take it with you?
Well, I took it with me and it was using it, but it was... So basically, we'd be printing away and the flash would be going, and if I heard the single-phase compressor kick in, I had to stop, because if it started flashing, the power would cut. So in between rounds, I'll be printing away, compressor would go every 5-10 minutes, probably even every 5 minutes. I'd have to stop and wait for it to fill back up again, and then get printing, which obviously caused problems in itself. So that $5,000 compressor that I'd owned for about 2 years, probably not even that actually.
Not even that, because it came with machine, didn't it?
Yeah, I bought it when
you bought the machine, yeah.
Yeah. I was sort of in a bit of a desperate situation, thinking I can't carry on like this. I better get in touch with my air compressor company that I've used. I said, "Oh, have you got a 3-phase I can swap? Would you swap it for a 3-phase?" And he said, "Yeah, of course I can. Give me a sec. I'll give you a call back. I'll go have a look at it back." Anyway, we've got this new 3-phase compressor, brand new, brand spanking. It's our brand. It's got a soft start motor, so when it kicks in, it don't go. It like slowly comes in, and it's got a variable speed motor. It only uses as much as it needs to fill the tank. Because you're only running a little press, really, you're not going to need now at all. You're going to need barely anything. So it'd be so much more efficient on your power. And instead of all of it being used on one phase, it'll spread it over the 3, and it should probably stop these power cuts that I keep having. It'll be $6,000, but I'll give you £800 for your old one.
Is that all?
I got £800 for it, yeah.
For what is practically a brand new compressor?
Yeah, brand new. And I was in a situation where I was like, I can't really argue. We were talking about building up to Christmas. The production had to go. I had to leave the door, and I couldn't not deliver what I've promised. So I just agreed to it. Just got it done. So that was obviously a big cost. So electric and the associated problems that came with it really added up. And then we had Dryergate.
So you've had Panther dryers forever. Panther dryer. You've had Panther dryer for ages. You've lived with it, worked with it, understand it explicitly, and so you knew the settings to do, which have seen you all the way through when you've been printing. Never had any issues with it, have you? No,
up until pre-move it actually started, if I think about it. So my old faithful dryer that I'd had 10 years or whatever it was, which had been an absolute workhorse, tiny dryer. How I made the business I did with it, I don't know. But it was literally the only tunnel dryer I could fit in that space. It was literally all I could fit inside. So I had to persevere and made it work somehow. Got quite good at folding T-shirts quite small and squeezing them on this tiny little belt.
The belt was, what, about 18-inch wide, the belt?
No, it's a metre belt, metre wide belt, if I'm not wrong. Or do you mean like the inlet size?
Width?
Yeah, width for about a metre. Maybe slightly tighter.
You can only get one shirt on there, couldn't you?
You could get one shirt.
Because you had that heat thing as well, didn't you? You had to put it between the two black lines.
Well, yeah, so I should probably qualify that. The belt might have been a bit longer, but really there was only the actual heating elements run a little bit smaller inside. So basically a T-shirt would run through with your folded sleeves under, and it'd go through that way. And yeah, anyway, that Old Faithful lasted me a long time, made it work. And funnily enough, you'd come by, and I'm not putting these two together, but you would come by, didn't you? And you helped me with some production. And anyway, I got an email off a customer.
I don't like how it's going.
I sent some T-shirts to on an oil rig. Actually, it was a strongman company. I think this oil rig had like a competition or something where all the workers were like, and anyway, we bought about 200 t-shirts or something off the top of my head. And it all just came off. And that was the catalyst. From there, it sort of spiraled, and I thought, shit, if it's come off on theirs, how many others has it come off of? So pre-move, I panic bought 2 more Panther tunnel dryers off eBay. Virtually the same dryer, but I bought 2 and I thought, you know what? I'll just run them that way, or I'll run them side by side. Got them into the old shop. How I got them into the old shop, I don't know. Like, where the hell did I put it? I stood to this. I mean, I did it, but I can't remember how. But we only had enough power to run one anyway in the end. That last month, I had even less space. Anyway, it got me back printing again, and problem solved. And then we moved, and we'd got the 2 dryers set up side by side, didn't we?
So I would have thought 2 dryers, as it goes in one dryer, comes out the other, drops onto the second belt and continues. So you're making a really long dryer?
Yeah.
But you had the idea of making a really wide dryer?
Yeah, basically having 2. So when
Side by side.
when one's bottlenecked, you just put them on dry next to it.
Which is a great idea. Just side by side, it worked really well.
It actually worked a treat, didn't it?
Yeah.
For as long as it worked a treat.
Yeah.
And then luck would have it, we was here maybe a month, 5 or 6 weeks or something. Funnily enough, you turned up again.
Stop it now.
And we got another bad email, didn't we? Got another email that said it's all washed off. And I think I'd gone away at the time.
I'm either crap or the harbinger of doom. I can't work out which one it is.
No, it was just pure shit luck. Just totally freak occurrence, really bad luck. It was just a weird. At the time, it just felt like that's how my life would. Everything was just conspiring against me. That's just how I felt. And something had happened where the eating elements, like one side was only getting hot. Or like, if you've got like, let's just say you had 12 eating elements, randomly in between, some were getting hot and some weren't. Just a freak occurrence. I don't know what caused it. I don't know if it was the power cuts that had maybe damaged it, but at least one of those 2 dryers had died. So
your temperature was displaying as up to temp, wasn't it?
Oh, displaying totally fine.
On the front, it was displaying up to temp, but it was supplying power, but there were dead spots in the dryer, basically.
There were dead spots in the dryer, and I think there was some variation where it was like coming up and down, but the reader wasn't telling you. Anyway, they were fucked, basically, weren't they? So, freak occurrence, 3 dryers died on me in the space of 2 or 3 months. Again, shitload of money that I'd already sort of run out of at this point after moving. For reprints and refunds and
there's no point having a fantastic print if it comes off in wash.
Absolutely not. Waste of time. No, pulling my hair out at the time. Absolutely pulling my hair out. And I think you was here, and I think we were having a look at the dryers, weren't we? This is not slagging off.
You were here again.
You was here again. And anyway, we were diagnosing dryers. We were running stuff through and using heat guns and all sorts. And anyway, we cottoned on. I was like, hang on, this entire left-hand side is flat cold, but the other side's too hot. So as the shirts were coming through dry, you could see steam and what have you coming off. So you thought, it's fine. And actually, the stretch test was working as well, which still to this day sort of baffles me a bit.
I don't like the stretch test.
But it's not. No, it's not a perfect way to do it, is it? Anyway, I sat back in my chair here and I was a new over here messing about, and I says, what am I going to do now? I ain't got another 10, 15 grand to go buy a proper dryer. What the fuck am I going to do? And anyway, and you kind of did that. You said, you kind of just did that. Don't know. And then you went home.
For technical insight, and then you just got in the car and went home. See you later.
And I think that night, or the day after I sort of cried myself to sleep a bit, I was scouring Facebook and what have you, and Kawasaki Bazooka.
Kawasaki Bazooka, yeah.
Came up. Well, actually, I think it had been sat on Facebook a few weeks, actually. It'd been sat
Chiosi
on
Kawazuti.
Yeah, it wasn't actually that bad price. It was pretty cheap, really, about $2.5 grand.
It was a really good bargain, yeah.
Bit of a steal, really, if I'm honest.
Yeah, they're normally a bit more than that.
Yeah, I mean, I had to pay a lorry driver to go pick it up and that, but all in all, like $3 grand or so, $3.5 grand or something. And actually, do you know what? I'm so happy it happened because it's changed the game for me now. I've got a reliable dryer
that can cope with your production speed.
That can cope with what we can chuck at it. And it's changed game now. And you don't realise how much you miss it. You don't realise how much you're missing until you get it. And that's just as far as curing goes, and as far as production printing speed, no problems whatsoever now. Flat out, good solid dryer. The shirts are holding up beautifully. I think forced air is a real thing. Like, it really does make a massive difference.
It is. Otherwise, you've just got a flash over a belt.
Yeah, you've just got that. You've just got hot temperature penetrating from top to bottom.
It's really
that
intense.
forced airs.
Yeah, you've got to have something to raise the whole temperature up. Not just expose the top of the shirt and the ink film that you think you can get up to the magic temperature. You've got to control the environment, really push hot air.
Yeah, it makes a difference to. It's like zero scorching as well. So we had you're
not exposing anything to direct heat.
No. Well, when we had those power cuts, and we got a tunnel dryer, 2 meter long, whatever it is, tunnel dryer, full of shirts. First time it happened, quick, get a brush, fish them out, get them out quick before it catches fire. And what we actually realised is actually it doesn't do a thing. They just sit there quite happy because the air temperature is 165, and as soon as power goes, it just steadily drops. Not sat on. If you've got an infrared tunnel dryer or whatever, you've got a heating element above, you're moving them through at speed so they don't get too hot and scorch. You're balancing speed and temperature so you find that sweet spot. Whereas this, if I set it to 165, inside that hot air chamber, it's 165, end of story. And a t-shirt can sit at 165 quite comfortably without scorching.
Yeah. That's why I always used to like gas dryers for that, because your Kawasaki, the bazooka, that also does exactly what a gas dryer does, which is basically take a chamber, a box of air, heat that box of air, and then take that hot air and pass it through air knives onto the face of the shirt, and then recycle it back through again. And it's this constant movement. I often say, the dryers, which can be gas dryers, big expensive ones, can be 70, 80, 90 grand for a gas dryer. And it's basically a flame in a box. A flame in a box heats up that air, and then a fan moves that hot air through air knives onto the shirt. And what you've got at the side of yours, so all your heating elements are at the side. They're not above, they're all at the side. And then it's heating up that air, and then it's moving it and pushing it back through. I used to love a gas dryer for that, because it was the most efficient way of heating that box, that chamber, and then pushing that on. People used to think, I'm pushing all the combusted, the CO2, the carbon monoxide directly onto my shirts. No, you're not. That goes out. You're just heating a box, and then we're pushing air over the box. It's a much simpler way of doing it.
It's a game changer. I fully sold on technology. It makes a massive difference. And I can just feel it in the shirts I'm printing. It feels like they're really built to last now. They won't wash or fade or crack or anything. They're absolutely rock solid.
But you have changed how you print.
Yeah, solid versus water-based.
Yeah.
So pre-move, went back a couple of years, we bought the auto, didn't we? And almost my SOP, if you like, was I was printing Aquaflex white as a base, and then I was printing Plastisol colours on top. And I'd really got it down quite well. My Plastisol top colours looked every bit as much water-based as any water-based print at that time. I was manually printing. I'd really absolutely mastered international coatings ink. I was using additives and mixing every colour to a certain consistency, if you like.
Secret sauce recipe.
Yeah, I don't want to be a dick about it, but I had a secret recipe. And it honestly made a massive difference. And it wasn't just a bit of puff either, so. But honestly, it made a world of difference. But when we got the auto, I was having naught but problems printing with that way. Basically, the Aquaflex was cooking. At the time, was going round a couple of times at least. When I first got it, maybe even like 4 or 5 times round if it was a 6-colour shirt. And every time that white was cooking and cooking, so you put your 8 shirts on.
To heat, isn't it? All the time.
So that time you get to your 8th shirt, well, you put your 8 shirts on, it goes around. Maybe the next time it's all right. But then that third set around, it's already started to cause problems. It's sticking and it's pulling the t-shirt back with it. It wasn't quite clearing. And it just caused so many problems that eventually I basically gave up on the idea. Or I thought, let's just dabble. Let's just have a dabble with some Plastisol again. Because it had been a long time since I'd had any white Plastisol, even through them doors. I never used to touch for stuff. And I did a bit of shopping around and tried different whites. And eventually I fell on Street Fighter Cotton. Not low bleed,
Yeah, that
cotton.
surprised me. Cotton. I like SF2, Street Fighter 2 low bleed, because it goes on pretty much everything. You opted for Street Fighter Cotton, and you weren't getting any dye resistance. It might be because you weren't drying them.
That's probably because we were wet to touch. That's the trick to avoid dye migration. Just don't cure them. So I think I came round to Street Fighter and I looked at the two spec sheets, and to me it was quite obvious that Street Fighter Cotton was a matter and a softer finish just by reading spec sheets. So I didn't even try low bleed, or I might have done later on, but I went straight to Cotton and I absolutely loved it. So I was printing using quite high, so I was using like an 80 durometer to really put a nice thin layer, but it was still really matte and opaque as a base. It looked gorgeous actually. White, it might have been plastisol, but I won't say it was as good as what I was doing with my water-based plastisol combination. It was a little bit shinier. Not massively. It certainly looked a hell of a lot better than a lot of the plastisol prints you see nowadays. It was a hell of a lot better. And I didn't have any complaints or anything. Nobody really mentioned anything. And it was just a hell of a lot more practical during
working on your own on a hot pallet with a water-based ink that dries in, when it sits on a hot pallet all the time. It can be challenging. So you've fallen back to that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's worked for you. Good.
It was a practical choice during, let's call it a learning phase, if you like, because we've gone from manual to auto, and there is a learning phase and an adaptation, and it just helped me get through it a little bit easier, I think. And anyway, once we got into here and we got set up and we got running and we overcome the million hurdles that it chucked at me, I think I got a little bit cocky and I thought, should we try water-based again? So I chucked my V2 in and just fell back in love with it again.
What made you fall back in love with it? Because you've still got the operational issues with it. It's still a water-based ink. Is it that the finish will justify that little bit more extra work that you've got to do? Or did you get better at handling it?
I'd probably say a combination of both, really. The equipment I've got, the space, the power. So don't forget now, I haven't got a bottleneck for a dryer. So there's no standing waiting. It used to be that if I were printing 8 shirts, as I was pulling them off one at a time, I would pull one or two off and then I'd have to stand and wait for those to go through, and then I'd put the third. So even if the shirts were coming off one after other at the end of the print cycle, regardless of how many times it's gone round, even if it just gone round once, I was still stood waiting. That's not an issue now. Go out dryer and they've gone out my way, on the way. We never have to stand waiting. Never. So that takes that downtime down. It just worked. It just worked a lot better, I think. We're obviously printing a lot more wet on wet now as well. I think we've got the benefit of that time with plastisol and time spent with you.
So when I came, it was a good thing.
On this occasion, was actually quite a positive.
Just the once.
On this occasion, yeah, you had your moments.
Okay. I'll take that. I'll take with it.
And basically, we just found we didn't have half of the problems that I used to have, that I used to battle. Sometimes even on a manual. It's a product that you have to really babysit to get the results out of, or so I thought.
You've got staff as well now. You were on your own for a long time.
Yeah, well, it's their problem now, isn't it?
You took the plunge to get help. Because you can't do everything on your own. You're in the middle of a tricky water-based base job where timing and temperature is critical, and then somebody comes to the door, or the DPD guy comes, and you've got to stop. Yeah. Well, now with your full entourage that you've got, you don't need to do that. You've got people who can run the press.
Yeah, and I think it is a combination of all these little things that have just made it actually quite achievable now. And that's where I am.
Marginal gains, would you put that
marginal gains? I'm going to put that on a t-shirt one day. It's it's quite. And anyway, we're back to that as a standard now. Yeah. We have had a change of ink at some point over this whole period. I had the idea that Wilflex Epic Rio would be a marginal gain. It was a more opaque, more accurate colour mixing system.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be better for printing wet on wet. And I knew it wouldn't be much. I thought, was it 5%, 10%? It's a marginal gain. I fucking love a marginal gain. If it's a little bit better, then that's what I'll do. And anyway, I swapped out the whole system. Couple of grand's worth. Popped it all out. Fully all committed.
Yeah,
didn't test. And I have to admit, we are printing wet on wet, but it's a lot more troublesome than what international coatings were. And I'm not fully committed right now. I'm a little bit on edge thinking, do I go back? I could be really tempted to go back, to be honest.
If there was no financial cost, would you go back?
Yeah. If someone says, well, I'll give you a straight swap right now, I'd go back, honestly. And it's a shame as well, because I've had conversations with lots of shops. There was one shop over here in particular who had recently done the same thing, and he sent it back. Had enough of it. It was like shit. It's just, it sticks so much in it. Shit. And I just was I spoke to a lot of other shops, and in hindsight now, most of us was based internationally. So that somewhere along the lines has changed, whether it's humidity and temperature, or maybe they've got a different formula. I don't know what it is. They've all got bigger presses. That's a big part of it.
I think most of the ink is made to one formula globally now. I don't think any of those American inks are made in England. I think they're all made in America still.
Right.
There's only, I think they have a formulation for the Far East and a formulation for North America and the rest of the world. Every time they change the ink, and you know, they change the ink for a few reasons. Number one, they change it for money. I don't care what you say, who they are, they have to make money. And if they have a binder that's got some great big long chemical name and it costs them $10 a gallon, and there's somebody giving the same long chemical name for $8 a gallon, they'll swap.
Yeah.
And they don't tell you, because as far as they're concerned, it's the same ingredient, but there could just be something in it that causes it just to get that little bit stickier, and then you're on that spiral where it's sticky under the screen.
Yeah.
And every time the ink companies do come out with something, we say, we don't want we don't want phthalates in it, we don't want lead in it, we don't want this in it. And right now nobody wants PVC in it. And the last PVC ink free ink that I tested was impossible to print wet on wet.
Not with latex?
Silicon.
Is it silicon based?
They take the PVC out, and I don't know what they put in its place, to be honest.
Right, all right, anyway.
But it's sticky as.
So in a nutshell, I'm much happier on press. I'm much happier with the results we're printing, with a little bit more to gain back in terms of printability. We are doing wet on wet, of course. I couldn't cope without it. But certain jobs, every now and again, you've just got to send it around a couple of times.
It's a time thing, isn't it? If you look at the time it takes to deal with the issue of the sticking, and it's 60 shirts, then you're looking at an 8-minute investment on sending it round twice.
Yeah, it's sometimes
worth every penny.
Sometimes it's just easier to run it. It depends what you're doing, really. Anyway, we'll get there. There is a chance to go back to international coatings, and then I honestly think the wet on wet will be 9 times out of 10 we'll just print it wet on wet. I think your press makes a massive difference as well, though, the amount of colours. I've got 6 colours, so we're squeezing all those colours into one small space. There's no gaps between. There's one flash. That causes problems. If I had a 12 or 14 colour press, there's room for those colours to breathe in between each other.
What do you think the perfect configuration would be?
I feel like we've done an episode on this.
We have. Yeah, I want to see if it's changed. Because I think when we did the episode, you were still on manual.
Yeah, probably. I mean, if you ask me right now, if money wasn't an issue, I'd take a 12-14 or 14-12 right now.
You want to go one more? Is there an upper limit? That's what I'm trying to get to. Should you go for a 24-20? Would it make your life easier?
Probably not, because we're getting to a point where if you start, there's a limit to where I don't think I'd start touching that amount of colours.
But
not
would
necessarily.
It give you more colours or more flashes?
Yeah, well, this is what I mean. At what point? Because if I buy a 14-colour press, I've not got any intention of printing a 14-colour screen print. But what it does give me is cooling stations, and maybe I could chuck another flash in, and everything goes around once. With a 14-colour, no matter what a job I chuck at it, will it go around once? And off the top of my head, without having one, I'm going to assume maybe on the very rare occasion we resort to multi-print, but I would assume a 14 colour would allow me and the work that we get to go around once. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think 16 pallets, 14 print stations is the absolute luxury. I think a 14-12 is a slight compromise. You have to fall back on your skills. Well, and a 10-12 limits you completely. So I'm with you. I've been in places where they have 18-22s, usually ovals, and it's print flash cool. So Silla can only do 6 colours, but they can flash every colour.
Right. So when I said 14-12, I just assumed if you bought a 14 colour print, it came with 12 stations. I didn't realise you could buy a 14 colour with 16 stations.
You
For
can have it whatever you want.
more stations, the better. I'll take
Whatever
16.
you want. It works better. I think for me personally, if you break 16 to 18, you're probably better off with an oval. An oval configuration, and any oval configuration usually has 2 empty stations as it goes around the corner at each end.
Right.
There's usually 2 pallets there.
Right.
So an oval configuration will be usually 4 more pallets than there are print stations.
Right.
And a octopus, pulpo, round, circular carousel will usually have 2. When I got my last time I bought a press, basically, I had mine with 3 empty stations. So mine would have been, instead of a 10-12, it would have been a 9-12.
Right.
And for me, 9-12 worked really, really well. And the main reason was I had quite large runs, but I had lots of young, experienced staff. So I need to train someone how to load very quickly without compromising quality.
Right.
So I would have 1 person unloading and 2 loading.
Really?
The
Right.
experienced one near the bit that chews you into pieces, and
Right.
the inexperienced one next to the unloader.
Right.
And so the inexperienced would leave one, let one go past. The experienced person would load one really quickly, and then they would check that the person who was training was getting it straight and in the right place. And after 3 or 4 hours of that, eventually you'll be like, right, stop leaving me one now, or only leave me every 3rd one. And then
Right.
eventually you can step back and go, right, you're on your own now. And there's a space there.
I love that there's a level of production and a capacity that you would have to consider that. I love that. I mean, I just think it's great that you would go to the extent of buying a press with a certain amount of colours to achieve the fact that we will have new staff and production keeps going while somebody's learning. And, you know, the experienced guy's got an eye on every time it comes. I just love that level of detail and the fact that there is a production capacity out there that requires that.
Still there, yeah. It's still there.
I wouldn't think of that, obviously, but...
Well, it stems from the original ovals, which were hydraulic, not pneumatic. So the big tank of oil underneath and a compressor running the whole time. And if you think of like a lozenge shape, an oval, and it would have 8 stations for colours at the one side, but then at the other side there was just 8 empty pallets.
Right.
And so you could have 6 loaders if you wanted to train. You could even walk in between the pallets and move with it, which we used to do on the long panels, because it would take you more than 1 print to load. So you'd have 2 people walking into this moving press, move with it, and then out at the end. And there was a pressure plate at the end that if you got stuck in it, you stood on the pressure plate, stopped the press. My first ever press was a 4-colour version of that. So I had 4 empty stations there, 4 open here. I don't know whether you ever remember your first job you printed, but I remember the first job I got on press. It was New York Yankees, so the NY, black and white, or navy and white, I think it was, on green fleece. And the machine was possessed. It needed a priest. It would actively try to kill you. You'd jump on the pressure plate and it would move.
Fucking hell.
You'd stay off the pressure plate and it wouldn't move. And so you'd be like, right, okay, I'm okay. You'd walk into it and then go bang. And it had a definite demonic personality. It would try harder every day to kill you.
Fucking hell.
First machine. Yeah.
No, my experience was like that.
So yeah, that configuration, more colours is always better up to a limit. And then, at some point you have to go, right, okay, where do I draw the line? For me, it's a 14-16. So 14 empty print stations for which I can put a flash or a printer in, and 2 open.
Yeah, that makes sense. That'd be a bit of a dream. I would like that, and then I would like that to just shuffle up. I say that. Well, yeah, I would. I think I would, because you could stage it, couldn't you? You could have your bigger colour jobs on
100%. With that, you've got I think you've got a 1.5 metre width on your belt now. 5 foot.
2 metre width.
2 metre width. So you can get 2 presses there in a beautiful configuration that looks like a rocket ship.
You might be right. It's 1.5. You can run 2 shirts down it. But we might get to capacity issues, because we can run this dryer with a single press and not have any bottlenecks, because we can go side by side if we was running 2 at a time. But I do like this idea of having one. I mean, part of the reason is cost. cost of staff, one team on production.
Well, I had a team of 4.
That's not as many as I thought you were going to say.
No, a team of 4. So you got 1 setter and 3, let's call them operators, even though they're a step above. And what they are is 1 puller, 1 loader, 1 unloader, 1 loader, 1 QC on end of the dryer. And let's say you have 100 pieces for colour. You know in your head, running time from pressing print start to print finish, round once, that's about, let's say, 12 minutes.
Yeah.
So your setter has 12 minutes to set the next job up.
Yeah, right.
And once it says 11 minutes in, he presses sample, it's ready to go, leaves it on preheat, and then the 12th minute ticks over. This team A, press print finish, and just wander over to machine 2 and press print start.
Yeah.
I ran a company like that. Our average run was probably 100 pieces, and it worked while it was there. If the average run fell below 50, it didn't work. But equally, if the average run went above 300, it didn't work.
Right, I see.
Because let's say 300 is an hour's worth of press time. It was so difficult to not run 20 pieces on the other press with my spare guy. But the danger is they both stop at the same time. But the temptation is, well, I've set it, it's ready to go. They're going to be another hour over there. Surely I can run this on my own and then set another job up in the time it takes them to run that. So it gets difficult to manage. I tried to come up with software to make it work, and in the end, it was just the instinct of my setter, my little dynamo that made it.
You see, I'm in a situation now where I need to squeeze the most production out of a small amount of days. Basically, both staff that I've got are both fully committed and will not budge on 3 days. 3 full days, they'll turn up and will work for me. And I've tried my hardest to get Chloe to do more, and she just won't budge.
Work-life balance.
Eyes rolling.
It's work-life balance, isn't it?
It's amazing. It's amazing how everybody on Earth has this amazing work-life balance that I keep hearing about.
I didn't used to have it, did you?
I fucking deaf. I ain't got one.
It was work. Oh, look, a little bit of life. No, it's gone. Work. Work.
Work until you fucking hit a wall at full speed, crash, give yourself the tiniest bit of breathing room to get back on your feet, and then carry on.
So you can work again.
Fucking hellfire. Oh, but anyway, so I've in my head at the moment rattling around because orders are coming in. We're growing, we're getting bigger, but I'm at a point where I'm like, I need more production out of my day.
What's your bottleneck now? We haven't moved to, because your bottleneck's changed all the way through our sort of relationship. What is it now?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to honestly and openly tell you that at the start of the year, my bottleneck was money because of moving, adapting to the new fucking extortionate amount of bills and stuff that go out of my door every month, and paying everything back, etc., etc. So it was money. We're back on his feet. Bills are going out. Wages are getting paid. Supplies are ordering. So that's no longer a bottleneck. We're totally fine. All good. I knew it was going to be hard. It was hard. I knew it was going to be tough. It was tough. And then everything else on top of it just made it, it's so stressful and painful and hard to deal with. But we came through it, and we're all right, and we're happy, and we're loving life again. So now the bottleneck has shifted. I'm going to say people. Because at the moment we're sort of in a training phase where I'm trying to get, I really want this place to run whether I'm in here or not.
That's the goal. It's always the goal. If the whole business relies on the presence of Danny, it's a weak business.
Yeah, 100%. It is. It's something I'm steadily chipping away at. So that is a major bottleneck and a major issue that is going to come up quite soon, which I'll tell you about in a bit. But also just the amount we can produce in those 3 days. When Dan and Chloe are in those 3 days, we should be stacking them boxes. And we have quite a lot of downtime between jobs. So this is where the thought of having 2 presses would enter in my head. Not in a situation to do that right now. But, it's just something I'm thinking about long term. So I need to do as much as I can to speed up the time between jobs. And it's little things like getting racks full of squeegees and flood bars.
That's the same problem as everybody else, though. That's, short runs, multiple colours, how to get that first shirt quicker. Get to that first shirt quicker.
Yeah,
You've got the pin system, you've got the pre-registration system. It's just a matter of skill now, isn't it? And repetition.
Yeah.
Repetition builds a muscle.
It is, and people again. So I'm Dan. Dan is basically screen room operator. He's spot on at it. He's found his place in this job.
Would you call Dan staging?
I wouldn't know.
He's not doing stock.
He's not doing any stock, not touching anything. He's not allowed to touch t-shirts. He is in that screen room and he's found his place. He's great at it. He loves it because he's in his own little room. He can put his headphones on and he gets on in quiet. He don't have to interact with anybody. Happy as Larry. And he's doing a great job. Honestly doing a great job. He's found his place. Chloe turned up, however long ago she turned up, and she's fantastic at any form of production or any form of skill. She just gets it and she just picks it up quite easy. So she's great on press. She will set the press up. She will run a job on her own. She'll run over to DTF and do that with her eyes closed. She can sew. She can do finishing. She's great at organising stock, but there's only so much she can do, you know.
We need more Chloes.
I think we need more Chloes. The problem is, I think at the moment is, while I'm desperately trying my best to grow the business, but also make it more efficient, and also make it a little bit more independent to the point that I can be away from the shop. And I'll always have to do a bit of remote work, but there are going to be periods of time coming up where I can't physically be here. And I need to know that if the invoices are getting paid, the jobs are showing up and it tells them exactly what we need to do. And they don't have to ask me. They can look at a big screen with it all laid out nice and clear and they just go do it. And you know, I might turn up and there's t-shirts and jobs that have come and gone and I've not even seen them and I'm happy. And that's a big problem that I'm trying to solve right now. And
so
also,
are you only producing 3 days out of 5? Are you not producing for 2 days?
No,
what do you do?
No. So we are absolutely producing 4 or 5 days a week, but it involves me. I'm having to get on press. I'm having to be helping Chloe, whether it's catching or offloading or whatever, or helping strip the press down between jobs. I'm being taken away from laptop, and I've said this now for a while. If I live on this laptop, the business grows.
Create work, yeah.
Orders come in, and I've absolutely proven that multiple times. Periods of times where I've had time on this laptop. Every time I sit on this laptop, away from just the everyday answering emails, etc. If I'm doing something that I'm growing a business, some sort of task in that way, that regard, I make a difference. And I think I've proven that because when we moved in here, the amount of work that were coming through the door couldn't sustain what we've got, and now it can. And that was a gamble, actually. If we go back to why did I move or when I moved, it was always a gamble. The gamble was this space will allow me to grow the business, to sustain it, because taking what we had couldn't. And there was a gamble in that, a very risky gamble.
As with all business, yeah.
And I guess it's starting to pay off. So I think if you ask me this time next year, I think it'll definitely all have been worth it.
Yeah, you have to put time in to the business side of stuff, because I often see fantastic printers. They're actually superb, but they don't know what tax is. They don't know how to cope with insurance. They're rubbish at running a business. They only react to sales. They're not proactive. They don't go out and get sales. They just react to when the phone rings. And it lasts for a while, but eventually it fades off. And then you sat there with all your overheads going, oh, we're in trouble. And
catch you out quite quick.
It is, it's the biggest part of what you're doing is actually sat in front of that laptop, not sat in front of that press. We can, in theory, train anybody to sit in front of that press. They've just got to work to your standards, that's all.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is where I'm at, really. The bottlenecks is having enough people to run production and me having enough time sat here on this desk. And that's it. That's as far as it goes, and I just need to solve them. I need to solve them quite quickly because I've got a little girl coming.
More staff?
A little girl coming to run the press.
So let me get this straight. You basically you've improved your process. You bought an automatic press. You've upgraded all your electrical dryer. You've upgraded your electric supply. You've bought a new compressor. Your business is going great. So then you thought, I know, I can have some spare time. Let's start a family.
Well, no, because in between all of this, I'm also doing the house up. That time off you were talking about is actually me painting it and rebuilding things, digging gardens up and doing all that crap.
Doing the house doesn't actually stop. You know, when you've done that last room, you're going to go back to that first room again. It's like painting Forth Bridge.
Yeah, because
it's been 3 years since you last decorated this front room.
To be fair, I mean, I'm in process of redoing. Well, I actually did my office, which is now Penny's nursery, and then a couple of weeks ago we were redoing our bedroom because she decided version 1 wasn't quite homely enough. It was a bit generic and bland, so I've just redone all of that. So you are right. You go around, don't you?
Yeah. Are you doing all decorating, or are you getting a little man in?
I'm doing it. I have let go a little bit of control, and there's been a few jobs in the house where we've had electrics done.
I understand.
We had a bit of job done because I just ran out of time. I've got too much here to do. I'd love to have full control and do everything, which is what I tried to do. I'm a bit of a control freak about it. And plus I love it. And plus I get a sense of pride when the house is done and I think, I've done all this. But
I'm with you. I've got a little bit more time on my hands, and I'm starting to do a lot more renovation, decorating, changing. In fact, after this, I'm laying a carpet. Yeah. And I'm sort of thinking, do you know what? I think it's time to just bite the bullet and say, find me a man who fits a carpet, pay him, and say, right, just do it. But the thing is, I'm never happy with what someone else does because I'll see the faults. Now, if I do it and there's a fault, I accept it because it was mine and I know why it happened and everything. But if it's the same fault with someone else, I'm like, no, I can't accept it.
I couldn't unrelate to you more. I will see absolutely every single fault in anything I do. I will.
I see it, but I accept it.
Yeah, well, I don't. It eats at me. There's stuff I've done. I'll see every fault in stuff I've done, but then if someone else comes along and does it, I'll say, "Oh, that's good, Dad, isn't it?" And that's it as far as it goes. I don't know if I'm just my own worst critic or whatever it is. I don't know if I'm insecure or I've got issues or whatever. But I just see it.
I've got a list somewhere. Hang on, I've got a list.
That's right.
Me and Haley sat down. Yeah, insecure. Yeah, obsessive. Yeah.
Oh, God. It doesn't matter what I do either. It's the same with t-shirts. I've had it all the way through. I've never been happy.
Well, I'll tell you what you are good at. You're a champion at hide the sausage because when is when is Haley due? When is Penny arriving?
January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Did
you have to work out where you were?
Well, because...
When did I go to Iceland?
Well, no, but what it is, the original date was 1st of August.
Okay.
And it's moved back to July, which is a month before August. That's a bit I had to count in my head.
So
How do I run a business and I couldn't even work it out that quick?
So basically, your life has changed dramatically in the time since we last spoke. You've upgraded your business, upgraded your premises, and upgraded your house, and because you're no longer living at home with your mum, and now you've.
It was like a totally different lifetime ago.
It's completely different, isn't it? When we first started, completely and utterly different, and now you're starting a family as well. So I think it's a great thing to see you progress. We're going to keep up with the story as long as we can.
Yeah, so maybe this leads on nicely to what's happening with Chippy Tee. What's next for Chippy Tee? Because it disappeared, and as you've seen, we're sort of having a bit of a comeback here. But what really happening?
What's really happening is I'm going to take over the mantle of Chippy Tee because you don't have the time to do all of the
list you've just come out with,
basically because you're so busy doing everything else, including playing hide the sausage. There's just no way you can put 6 to 8 hours worth of video editing in. So I'll take it up, and also we won't feature you every week. I'll go around and I will contact people that we've had on the show before and people that we haven't had on the show before. And we'll continue the theory of Chippy Tee being a great place to chat and meet up and discuss state of the industry, what's happening in the industry, and it'll be UK, USA, global, whoever we sort of like come across that agrees to come on this highly technical, advanced place that we've got. And we'll have a catch up on the state of what we're doing at the moment.
Yeah, I think it'd be nice to hear different perspectives, not to hear my voice every week. And
We still want you on though. We're still going to drag you in. You know, when I've got nobody else, you'll be my fallback.
Well, I'll pop in, can't I? Pop in every now and again.
No, I think we'll call in and we'll still keep in touch, and we'll still have you on the podcast, because I think it's great to have me and you chatting for hours on end like we do.
We could carry on, couldn't we?
It's just crazy, yeah. But I know you're committed to the business, which is growing. I know you're committed to the family, so I'm gonna carry on doing a regular podcast. Notice I didn't say weekly. Regular podcast on.
Don't shoot yourself in foot before you get going.
And try and keep what we built, because 100 episodes in, I travel all over, and people still say to me, Chippy Tee, we watch it, we listen to it, when's the next one coming on? So it's still popular. I think we hit on something. I think it works. I think the format
I think
works.
it does, and I just want to see it carry on, because I was somewhat proud of what we'd built.
I am,
somewhat.
Very. Yeah, very. Yeah.
And for some reason people sort of like it, so I want to see it carry on with Tony, and I'll pop in every now and again. And it will just be nice to get a ton of different guests on and hear different opinions.
Sometimes 3 people talking at once don't always work either, I don't think.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Get a bit awkward, doesn't it?
It can do. So we'll concentrate on a few people. So get ready, everybody. There will be a list coming round.
Yeah, I want to know who your first guest is.
I know, yeah.
I would say.
So it'll probably be somebody that's been on before that'll agree to it.
Yeah. There's a few.
I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's everything. Yeah, I think all that remains to be said is thank you, Danny, for coming on and being sort of like the guinea pig guest on what will continue to be Chippy Tee with Tony. And we'll.
It was a pleasure twice.
We don't talk about technical failures.
I'm glad it was me and not the first actual guest.
He keeps flashing at me, press record. What does that mean?
Fuck off. I'm off. Good grief.
There's a reason I wasn't in charge of technical stuff before.
I know, well, I am glad AI has come a long way, because you are going to need it.
I'm going to rely heavily on it, definitely. Right, so all that really remains to be said is thank you very much, Danny, and well, I'll see thee.
No, you cried. I'm looking for a stop button. It's not me.
No,
Can't do
it's
it.
me, and I'm not pressing it because it's the end of an era if I press this.
I know, that's it.
I've got to find it first, right? Well, thanks for listening to the new Chippy Tee podcast. If you have heard something that has struck you and you like, please pass it on to someone else. This industry is all about that. For now, let's get back to printing. Enough talking. See you next time.
Friday night, I want a Chippy Tee. Chippy Tee, Chippy Tee. I want a Chippy Tee.